Everybody knows that the Fender Custom Shop makes beautiful instruments, especially when they do these early Telecasters. The most controversial part of the conversation is relicing. If it is worthwhile, if it's cool, if it's not cool. I got 4 different examples, each one a different relicing stage. Gonna show you each one, let you hear them. Stick around. How's it going, y'all? My name is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you can see every time we get a cool custom shop in the studio. I got 4 of them today. I'm going to start with this one right here. But basically the idea of this video, like I said, we're going to look at 4 different types of relicing on 4 very unique but sort of based on the same formula custom shop Telecasters. I have all of the floor travelers, so I'm going to dive into all the specs of each one. But the basic building blocks, these are Blackguard blonde Telecasters, either 51 or 52. And we're going to go from Journeyman relicing to Relic, Heavy Relic, and Super Heavy Relic. Everybody's got an opinion on if relicing is cool or not, and I have decidedly been in the less relicing is better camp. I just think that most of the time everybody's canned answer to this question is, well, I want to relic it myself over time. Now, Chris McKee, my counterpart that is much older than I am, always says something to the effect of, well, the older you get, the easier it is to typically afford custom shop instruments, but then you have less time in your lifetime to do the relicing. I think that's a fair point. And also, when you go custom shop, you can get road-worn guitars from, the Vintera series, Mexican-made or American-made guitars. But when you go custom shop, it is a whole new kind of ballpark of very, very meticulous relicing that is hand distressed to make it feel exactly like a vintage instrument that they are basing these relicing patterns off of. But like I said, we got 4 different sort of ways to go in this video. I'm leaving out the Closet Classic and the New Old Stock. Those are going to be your pretty much non-reliced. New Old Stock is going to be a brand new guitar straight out of the case, exactly how it would have come in, say, 1952. And then Closet Classic will be a guitar that you bought back then. It was majority of its life kept in a case. The next step from there is Journeyman relicing. That's most of what we do in our store from the custom shop. It's kind of knocked down nitrocellulose finish that feels older, but it is not super worn through. You got checking, which is, if you look very close up on the guitar, you see those little lines that kind of the finish over time has done little cracks. I really like that look. That's pretty much where I have stuck when it comes to the relicing that I like. It's got a couple dings all over the place, but I'm going to pull out the floor traveler from this. If you don't know about floor travelers, when you get a custom shop guitar, you get a little booklet like this that's going to have your certificate of authenticity. This is a 1952 Tele Journeyman Relic, and this is your floor traveler. It's going to have all the detailed specs in there. Now, this one is a Journeyman, like I said. The pickups in here are hand-wound 50 to 51 Blackguard, which, the hand-wound stuff is always super cool to play on. I think it's pretty desirable for players just because, they all sound a little bit different, and that's kind of the point when it comes to vintage guitars. Everything's got a voice of its own because there was a lot less automation. So the hand-wound is really cool to have in there. I want to pull up the neck on this one. So the neck carve on this guitar, it's a 57 style soft V. Now we've seen that with a few different other custom shops we've been talking about recently. All the necks and kind of construction of these guitars are a little bit different. So this is a 52, but it's got a 57 style soft V neck. It is definitely a very, very soft V. This one's got a compound radius from 7 1/4 over here to 9 1/2 down here. And as you can see on the Journeyman, it does have a little bit of that neck wear on there. I'm going to show you a super heavy relic version in just a little bit. You can see how different that's going to be. But for now, get the look in your head. This is the Journeyman, and I'm going to play it for you. We got the hand-wound 50, 51 Blackguard pickups. I'm playing through the Fender Blues Junior, and I want to put a note out there right now. I went back and forth on how to do the demos on this video because you got 4 Telecasters. Each one's going to sound pretty different in my experience. I think they all have a very specific voice. I didn't want to play the same exact song on it because a lot of people, when I did a blonde Tele comparison in the past, they don't want to hear country on these guitars over and over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it in the same key, strum the same chords, and then kind of go where the guitar takes me. I'm sticking in the pretty similar format. It's going to be some leads and some chords, a little rhythmic, a little out there, but it's kind of the guitar and me vibing, see where we want to go. So going to start it off on the 52 Journeyman Relic. Take a listen. So that was a little demo on the Journeyman guitar. Now your eyes are not playing tricks on you. This is a different guitar. It looks pretty similar. It is a different guitar, and that's because this is a 52 Telecaster in Relic finish. Relic is kind of right in the middle of the road. Journeyman is a little bit lighter aging. This is when it gets into some very visible aging. As seen on the back, the buckle rash is wearing through. You got, definitely a little more wear just on the corners, a couple more dings. You can see probably very obviously that the checking is a lot heavier duty. Also still pretty normal kind of feeling, knockdown nitrocellulose finish. Not too rough on the parts that are not aged down. And the neck finishing, you can kind of see all that wear there. A big jump here is going to be the wear on the frets themselves. You can kind of see in the cowboy chord positions. I think it was, the, what are they called? The cash register, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. You could see that wearing on the frets. I do have the Floor Traveler for this one, so I'm going to go into a couple of the specs. These are the same exact pickups that you heard on that previous guitar. So it should sound pretty much exactly the same, even though I think, each one, since they're hand wound, it's going to have a little bit of a different vibe. The next one that I'm going to play for you is much more, obvious when it comes down to the pickups are very, very different. So this one is the Relic finish, 52, same exact pickups, same neck carve. I do think that when it comes down to it, a little bit kind of heavier aging on this neck feels a little more comfortable for my style. I just kind of like a satin neck. Obviously, this started its life, its imaginary life, as gloss as you can feel, kind of up near the nut and up on the higher register. But this is a little heavier duty aging on the neck. So I'm going to dive in, play a little bit on this one. It should sound pretty similar. I think it feels a little different. Obviously, the vibe that you get looking at it's going to be different as compared to that Journeyman. So same kind of thing I'm going to do on this one. Strum the same chords, see where the guitar takes me, playing the same sort of lead patterns. So here we go, 52 in Relic finish. So, we've talked about the Journeyman finish, we've talked about Relic finish, now we're getting into heavy Relic. Obviously, you see a big difference on this guitar that I think it's hard to compare sound-wise because this is an HS. You got the humbucker in the neck position, and you got the single coil in the bridge position. We got this guitar just last week, and I will say that I knew I had to make a video about Telecasters because of this guitar specifically. This, just a spoiler alert, this is my favorite one of the bunch, and I really wanted to show it off, and I think it's worthwhile to compare it because a lot of people just see, oh, we got some blonde Telecasters, they're all going to be kind of the same. Those first two are obviously as similar as they can be from the custom shop, but this one is just something special, and it's something that you don't see super often, the humbucker in the neck on what is based on a 51. So the other two were 52s. This is a 51 Telecaster. This is heavy relicing, so you can see obviously it's getting down to where you can feel the wood grain. It's really eating through over here. Heavy duty checking. This thing has been banged around quite a bit. Much more obvious fret wear as the guitar has been played much rougher, and also a little bit heavier on the neck wear. So this guitar, something about it, like I said, I've been in the Journeyman / Closet Classic camp for quite some time. I've never wanted a heavy relic guitar. This guitar is the first heavy relic guitar that I really think that I need this. So I'm going to open up the Floor Traveler, see what's going on here. Spoiler alert, also on the humbucker, it is a Seymour Duncan, which is pretty cool. So this is a limited 51 Telecaster heavy relic. Got the Seymour Duncan SH55 Seth Lover. He's a lover. Got the humbucker up here, and then in the bridge, you got the hand-wound crushed Blackguard Telly. That's the name of the pickup. We're going to hear it. The radius on the fretboard is not a compound radius. It's 9.5 all the way up and down. And the neck carve is a little bit different. I will say that it just says V in there, but it is much, much chunkier than the other two soft Vs that I played. So just the neck in general, it's a little bit more of that early 50s baseball U-neck kind of vibe. But it is a V carve. It is pretty subtle, but I just love the fact that it's super thick. The neck pickup on this thing is absolutely beautiful. I plugged it in when we first got it into a twin reverb, put a little tremolo on there with some, dialed in that reverb a little bit. It just blew my mind. I think this is one of the nicest custom shops we've gotten in the Tele body style for quite some time. I'm going to let you hear it, do the same kind of thing. See that buckle rash on there is going crazy. Seymour Duncan humbucker, like I said, heavy relic. Let's take a listen. So there you go. That was my favorite. Obviously, we got one more. And last but not least, this is the super heavy Relic. So last, it's the most. You know what I'm saying? The most Relic'd guitar. Most Relic that I've ever seen in person. This is super heavy Relic 51 Telecaster. I got the Traveler here. I'm going to dive into it in just a second. But you can see this guitar is trashed. This thing has been destroyed, loved, played over a lifetime. Not really, because it's brand new out of the custom shop, but you know, that's the whole idea here. This is a well-loved guitar. You can see that finish is wearing away all over the place. The hardware is all patinaed. The neck is the big thing on this one. It looks like it got a transparent black stain on it, but it's actually just dirt from dirty hands over the years. The fret wear on here is almost everywhere. Obviously, this guy's not doing a ton of, you know, low E string on the 8th through 12th fret, but, you know, he's got his own style. He's obviously playing a ton of leads. We got Yngwie over here or something. So this is super heavy Relic. Like I said, it's the first one that we've ever gotten in that I've gotten to see up close, and it's pretty wild to see. 51 no caster, super heavy Relic, and this one has those 50 to 51 Blackguard pickups hand wound in there. Compound radius, and then the neck shape is just called the 1950 Blackguard. So this is pretty interesting. It's not super period specific when it comes to having compound radius or anything like that, but with a guitar that's this Relic'd, really the benefit that you're getting not only is the look, but the comfort of having a neck that's been fully worn in. Really nice carve on this one. I do like the chunkier necks, so that's what I'm getting on here. It's just, it's been worn in to a very comfortable place. I think that somebody won the rodeo over here with how big that buckle is for the buckle rash, but, you know, good for that guy. I'm going to play a little bit on this one. Pickups should sound pretty similar. However, I think each one with the, you know, hand-wound pickups, they all sound a little bit different. So really, since I've time-stamped, as you can probably see below, you can go back and kind of compare each one of the demos. Take a listen, maybe go back and listen to that first 51, or the first 52s. Obviously, the humbucker guitar is going to sound a little bit different. But take a listen to this one. Super heavy Relic, no caster. Here we go. So there you have it. Obviously, the point of this video is to show you kind of concrete examples. It's easy to see online, but kind of diving in, getting to see how they move, how they feel, how they sound, you know, with different levels of relicing. Really, the level of relicing should not change the overall sound of the guitar. That's the pickup's job, but I think it gives, you know, I kind of mentioned I'm just going where the guitar is kind of telling me to go. That sounds kind of pretentious and ridiculous, but every guitar plays a little bit different. So I wanted to dive in, look at the pickups. This one's obviously my favorite. If this was a new old stock guitar, it'd probably be mine. I would go up to maybe Journeyman, Closet Classic, whatever. The heavy Relic is just not my favorite thing. I think it's something where I can appreciate the artistry and the craftsmanship that goes into it, but it's always been something that turns me off a little on guitars. I think that most people that like it, they're like, no, I need that Relic. I want to hear from y'all because I think, and we can put a poll up or something like that. When it comes to relicing on a custom shop guitar, do you like it? Is there a certain point where you think it's tasteful and then it goes over the top? This one, as a side note, just has some of the best sound of any Fender that I've played in a really, really long time. I think more people should take a look at like a Tele Custom, something like that, that has a humbucker in the neck. Usually when you see humbuckers on Telecasters, you got like an HH deluxe style, and then if you're talking Strats, you've always got an HSS. It's going to have the Telecaster. I mean, the bridge is going to be your humbucker. I think a Tele, you know, everybody thinks about country, get that snappy kind of sound from the bridge pickup. But there's something really special about how deep and warm a Telecaster can sound, especially with the humbucker in the neck position. On my Tele, I'm always in the neck position. I think it just sounds really sweet, and I'm not doing a ton of snappy stuff all the time on the bridge unless I'm going full country. So something special about this guitar. On all these guitars, they are just impeccable craftsmanship, really consistent, which is kind of the other problem when it comes to custom shops. I mean, vintage instruments is, you know, every single one was a little different. At least in the custom shop, you get something that's consistent and very meticulously put together and shaped and voiced, and it's just, they're special instruments. So I would say go on the website, check out the custom shops that we have, but also look at Fender's custom shop website. It's just fun to dive into. There's a custom shop event coming up soon, which is how we get all of our custom shop guitars, whether we bid on them and get it that year or we put in an order. I think all of these were guitars that we ordered probably over a year ago, that they finally got built and they came into us this way. And so these were chosen by my coworker Chris McKee. Obviously you can see with 4 old school blonde Telecasters in various ages of relicing. He's got a type. He likes them blonde, but I will say that he made some good choices. This is by far my favorite. Please let me know which one you preferred. If you like the Journeyman, if you like the super heavy Relic, if you just want to drag behind a truck, we can do that as well. Let us know what you think. Check out our website for which ones are currently available. We got plenty of Strats and Jazzmasters as well from the custom shop. Very cool time to be a Fender fan. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.